Welcome to the channel. Just to update you guys, there's a quick link in the comment section for you to skip to your respective question, and also you can send us videos or photos of your question to our Snapchat or Instagram. So we'll try our best to help you out on your question. So without further ado, let's start the video. The first question, so edges pieces and insides pieces ratio was given, so all you need to do is write it down and then you cross multiply it. The part that you won't know is the actual edges piece, so you run the calculation, then you will be able to find the answer. So moving on to the second question. So all you need to do is to use the ratio, but the tricky part is you actually need to find the total, which is 25, and you multiply by 100, then you get the answer. And for the following one, okay, so the total hours was given, so you're only required to find engine's time. So engine's times over total hour, then you compare it to the ratio, cross multiple to find the answer. Lastly, which is the price of the puzzle. So all you need to do is you need to identify that 15.99 is actually the 65% of the selling price. So in order to find the original price, you just put it into the formula: original price times the selling for 65%, then you will get the answer. So for the next question, the keyword here is mathematically similar. So you actually need to square root the area that was given, then you compare it. So the area of the photograph over the length of photograph, then you take the area of the puzzle over the unknown, which is the length of the puzzle. By doing cross multiple, then you will get the answer. So the following one, I actually use a very simple method instead. So I just write it down. 100 cm is actually 1 meter. So 100 times 100 cm, then you will get 1 meter square. So you just take 6,610 over 10,000, then you will get how much meter square is it. Lastly, which is the percentage of profit. So first thing you need to identify is the profit itself. So by using the selling minus the cost, then over the cost price times 100, then you will get the answer. So for the following question, it's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is substitute the -2 into the x position. Then by running the calculation, you will get the answer, which is -4.5. So same for the following one, all you need to do is substitute 0.5 into the equation, then you get the final results of 10.5. So part B, you're actually required to plot down the points. So after you plot it down, then you need to draw the lines. So it's shown as this. So next, part C is talking about exactly has only one solution. So this is also very straightforward. All you need to do is just draw a line at the k equals to 5. So as for the following question, it's actually trickier. So you actually need to know that y equals to 3x plus 2 over x squared plus 1 equals to 15 minus 3x. So you get the new formula, which is y equals to 15 minus 3x. Then you're actually required to set points, 2 random points, in order for you to get 2 dots and join them together. So I actually chosen when y equals to 15. So under what condition will makes y equals to 15? Which is when x is 0. Then for the following one, I actually chose -3 for x. Then by running the calculation, I get y equals to 24. So one thing you need to remember is the point that you actually select must be inside the sizes of the graph that was given, so that easier for you yourself to draw it. So by doing so, I actually identified 3 points, which is -0.3, 0.4, and 2.27. So they actually have a model range for the answer. So it's in the video already, so you can just check. mine might not be that accurate. So for the following question, you are required to do the rearrangement. So the first thing that you need to do is actually get rid of the denominator, which is x squared. So you actually need to multiply x squared into everything else in the formula. So from my 3x, I get 3x cubed. So plus 2, 1 times x squared, you get x squared. And then the x squared you're also required to multiply into bracket 15 minus 3x. So by doing the rearrangement, then you actually identify a is actually 6, b is negative 15, and there's actually no c. So c will be simply 0. That's the solution for this question. Next, which is question 3. So it's just basic algebra. So all you need to do is do the arrangement. So you put the x at one side. So 8x plus 4x equals to 22 plus 5. So by doing the calculation and everything, then you get the answer. So for the following question, the same thing, do the rearrangement first, bring the 2x towards the left hand side. So you will get 4x more than equals to 14. Then you do the calculation again, then you get 3.5. So x times x, then I get x squared. 7 times 3, then I get 21. So you actually cross multiply it, then you will get 7x and 3x. After you get to this part, then you're required to fulfill the requirement, which is to get a negative 4x. So you get 7x and 3x. So all you need to do is just put the negative at the 7x and then put a positive at the 3x side. So lastly is to expand the bracket and simplify it. So all you need to do is just multiply 3x into 4x, 3x into 3y. Then you do the same thing, negative 2y times 4x, negative 2y times 3y. So the tricky part here is you need to remember to also carry the symbols that the part that you selected. So in our case, the tricky part will be negative 2y. You actually need to multiply it into 4x and also positive 3y. So for question 4, it's more straightforward, so I won't do any voiceover for this part. You can just pause the video time to time to check how did I get the answer. So because it's quite hard to explain like how did I get the translation and everything. So I actually show you step by step how did I get the answer through drawing it. So watch it, and if you got problem, you can actually reach out to us through our Instagram or Snapchat. Then I will try to send you the explanation or answer through there if you really need our help. So for question 5, so far this is the most tricky question throughout the 5 questions that we have gone through. So for A, it's very straightforward. All you need to do is just take 1 over 8 times 1 over 8, because the chances of you getting number 8 throughout the 8 side is only 1. So the answer you get is 1 over 64. All you need to do to find the answer is actually take 1 minus 1 over 64, because they say 2 numbers are not both 8. So for part C, one number is odd number and one number is even number. So for odd numbers we actually got 3 out of 8, and for even number we got 5 out of 8. For probability cases, the sequence does matters. So if they didn't mention like first is odd number, then the following is even number, then you actually need to multiply everything by 2, which means that odd may come first, followed by even, or even come first, followed by odd. So the final answer is actually 15 over 32. So for next question, they say the total of 2 numbers is at least 13. So for this one, you actually required to screen through all the numbers that is in the combination. Only involve 5, 5, 6, 8. So as mentioned earlier, the sequence does matters. So I actually write down some of the possibilities at the side here, which is 5 plus 8, 5 plus 8, then the other way around, which is 8 plus 5, 8 plus 5, and also 6 plus 8, and 8 plus 6, and lastly which is 8 plus 8. So total it will be 7. However, you don't know the denominator, right? So the trick here is this. All you need to do is to square the total number. So the total possible outcome is actually 8. So square it, then you get 64. So the answer is actually 7 over 64. Or you can do it the previous method that I had. So by running the calculation, you will also get 7 over 64. So for probability chapter, if you couldn't do it like the second method, it is advised that you follow the first method, which is write down the combination, then straight away just get the answer, which is 7 over 64. So the last part, you are required to use the second method. So as they mentioned in the question, second number must be bigger than the first one. So for second line, you actually need to cross out the number 3, and for the first line, you need to cross out the number 8. So probability of getting 4 for the second number is 3 over 8, and it's bigger than 3, right, for the first number, so it's only 1 over 8. So you are done with the first part, then you move on to second number, you get 5. So chances of you getting 5 is 2 over 8, and it's bigger than the first number. There's actually 4 numbers that's 5 is bigger than it. So which is 3, 4 over 4. So times 4 over 8. Plus, moving on to next one, which is 6. So it's 1 over 8 times 6 over 8. And the last one is representing the number 8, which is 1 over 8 times 7 over 8. So the final result is 3 over 8. So as for the following question, it's quite straightforward. So as mentioned in the question, use cosine rule. So by doing so, keying in everything in the formula, then you can prove that angle ABL is actually 130 degrees. So with this data, you can now actually use sine rule, okay, to find angle BAL. Okay, so I'm gonna explain how do you actually find it. So just take sine ABL over the distance of the opposite, which is AL, 92.1 kilometer, and then for angle sine BAL, it will be 40 kilometers. So cross multiple. By doing so, you have already obtained angle ABL. Next step, as you all know, the total angle of a triangle is actually 180. So straight away you can identify that angle BLA is actually 30.5. So with that in mind, you will already know the angle of LA to the line I extended, which is 30.5 as well, because of the rule. So by doing so, I can straight away identify the angle NAB, which is 40.1. So if you take 90 degrees minus 19.4 minus 30.5. So the bearing will be from A to L, right? So all you need to do is just take 40.1 plus 19.4. Then you will get 59.5. But for bearing, you need to take note that you're required to put a 0 in front of your answer. So the answer will be 059.5 degree. So next, this question actually requires you to find BC, to find the distance of BC. Because with the distance, then you can calculate how long you can actually see the light by traveling at a speed of 28 km. Following question, you just use sine BL, which is 40.5 as 40.5. So with this in mind, you just use sine BLZ, then you are able to find the BZ distance. So times 2 of it, then you get the actual BC distance. So with that, you key in the formula, speed equals distance over time required. Then you will find it's actually 1 hour and 51 minutes. So the trick here is you take 28, divide by 51.96, then you minus off 1, then you use the remainder, multiply by 60 to find exact time required. So for the following question, it involves interquartile, upper quartile, and interquartile range. So interquartile is basically 25%, upper quartile is 75%, and interquartile is the value of 75% minus 25%. So how to find the value is by plotting from the graph. 25% you match on to the point and then draw it down. You actually get 6,000, whereby upper quartile is actually 10,200 and inner quartile range is 10,200 minus 6,000, which is 4,200. And for the following question, the prices of car on website A are lower than price of car in website B. So by looking at the median, okay, which is the medium range of the products, so it's significantly lower from website A. So this statement is true because the median car price of website A is lower than website B. Whereby for the following question is asking that there's greater percentage of car have a price of 13,000 on website A compared to website B. So this one you will be looking at the upper quartile range. So this statement is actually false because the upper quartile range of website A is only 10,200, whereby website B is 13,600. So for next question, to find the mean price, you actually need to find the midpoint of the range first. So list down the midpoint, then multiply the midpoint to the numbers of cars over total cars, then you will get the answer. And for the last question, it's a little bit tricky. So actually you need to find the 25% deposit that Brian has paid, which is 2,190, and 24 equal payment. So 24 times a unknown amount. Then by doing your algebra, shifting and everything, then you will get the answer. So as for question 8, the first thing you need to know that is the height of the triangle. So as shown in the graph, 18 is the total height and then the radius is r. So for the height of the triangle, it will be 18 minus r. So with that data alone, we can now approach this question by using Pythagoras theorem. So you will also using the AB line, so half of it is actually 12. So next, we will be using cosine rules to find AOB because we have all three sides of the triangle already. So by running the calculation, you can now identify angle AOB. Lastly, which is calculate the area of major sector OAPB. So since we already know that AOB is 134.8 degree, we can just get angle of OAPB by taking 360 minus the answer that we found. All we need to do is just take 225.2 divide by 360 times the circle area formula, which is pi r squared. So to find the shaded segment, first you need to identify the area of the triangle. So we already got the base, which was 24, and also the height. So all you need to do is take the base times the height divided by 2. Then you will get the results of the area of the triangle. Then you add the major sector OAPB, then you'll get the answer 392.13. As for the following ones, they are looking for the volume. So since you already got the area, all you need to do is to times the height, which is 40 cm. The volume will still be the same. The changes on the shape doesn't quite matters, and the major difference will be the height. So the formulas goes pi r squared times h equals to the same volume, which is 15,685.2. So the next question, question 9. The first part is actually matrix. All you need to do is take m, the 3 and 2, you times 2 to it. As for the n part, you times a 3. So the tricky part here is the negative sign that is inside n, and also the given formula itself, 2m minus 3n. So the following ones, you actually got a formula. In order for you to find AB, it actually go through the path AO and then OB. However, from the question it was given that OA is A, so you are now going in a different direction. So it becomes negative A plus OB, which is B. Next, there was a ratio that was given in the question, AM to MB. You can straight away notice that the total will be 5, and then AM is actually 3/5 of AB. The following question is asking about position vector of M. So in order for you to get OM, it's actually OA plus AM. So OA is A, and then AM is the formula that you derive from the previous question. So you run the calculation and you will get the answer. The last part is more tricky. So first thing I need you to know is OC and OM is parallel to each other. So the difference will be there will be a POM. So OC equals to POM. So once you put in the P, then you get a new formula, which is 2PA/5 plus 3PB/5. So you need to compare the A to 2PA5. So after you run the calculation, you take away the A, and you get P is actually equals to 5/2. So next you substitute the value of P into the 3PB5. Then you will get K is actually equals to 3/5 times 5/2. For question 10, part A, there's A, B, C, D. I actually separate AB as one and CD as another part. So the reason being is A and B has the same difference for each of their sequence. So for A, the difference is 3, for B is -6. So from there I will be able to identify the next term. So for part C, you notice that the difference is actually odd number sequence, so 3, 5, 7. So I put 9 as the following term, so 16 plus 9, then you will get 25. As for D, the difference is 2, 4, 6, so the following one will be 8. So 12 plus 8 is 20. So how do you actually find the n term? So A, B have a different approach, so CD has another one. So the first thing first, you actually need to find the zero term. So for A, you shift it backwards, 2 minus 3, then you get -1. For that, -1 is actually the zero term. So the first term result has already been given, so now we just put in the formula. So the formulas goes unknown n minus 1 equals to 2. So as we are using the first term, so the n is actually equals to 1. So we do the shifting, then we get unknown is 3. So the n terms formula will be 3n minus 1. So same approach for part B or question B. We work it back to find the zero term. So the zero term is actually 20 plus 6, which is 26. So our first term will be 26 minus unknown n equals to 20. So you do the shifting. So your n term, so your unknown here will actually be negative 6. So you get the n term, which is negative 6n plus 26. So you will be using a different approach for C and D. So first thing, you list down 3 layers of it, the difference. So in order for you to use this formula, the last layer must be the same. So for our case, C, the last layer is 2 and 2. So verify that first before you use this formula. So 2a will be equals to the last layer. 3a plus b will be equals to the second layer. And a plus b plus c will be equals to the first layer. So I already put the symbol down for you to read it. You can just pause the video and check the workings. So D also the same, you'll be using the same approach as well. So for the part B, question 1. So all you need to do is to write down the formula that was given, n bracket 3n plus 1 over 2 equals to 155. So by doing the calculation, you will get the formula 3n squared plus n minus 310 equals to 0. So the next thing, you will be factorizing it. So 3n times n, you get 3n squared. 31 times 10, you get 310. So the middle part, they want a positive n. So 31 will be positive and 30n will be negative. So you will get 3n plus 31 n minus 10. Following part is the sum of the first unknown term of this sequence is 155. So since we've already done it, so there's no negative sequence, so naturally the answer will be the 10th term. So the last question, question 11. So for this part, my suggestion is to separate into two parts. So the front part, before the equal sign, I treat it as 1. And for 3 over 2x minus 1, I treat it as another entity. So the first thing first, I sort out the first part. I change their denominator into the same. So after I run the calculation, I get 27 plus x over 12 bracket x plus 3 equals to 3 over 2x minus 1. So from there, you just do your usual cross multiple. then you will be able to find the answer. The harder part about this question is you actually need to be very careful when you simplify it. So when the moment you start factorizing, it's where the key whether you are able to find the combination for 135. So as shown here, I got 2x times x, then I get 2x squared, and also 27 times 5, then I get 135. So I cross multiply it, then I get 27 and 10x. So for the middle part, we actually want positive 17x. So I put the positive sign at the 27x and the negative signs at the back. So 27 minus 10x, then I get positive 17x. The final results that I'm gonna get will be 2x plus 27 times x minus 5. So if you do the shiftings and everything, you will get x is negative 27 over 2, and also x equals to 5. So thank you for watching. Just a quick update, the 27 bits paper is on the way, and also do follow us on our social media to get the latest info. You can also send us your question through Instagram or Snapchat. We'll try our best to answer you. So thank you. Stay tuned.